Hi everybody. Welcome to my garage. This is part 27 of 120. Just so you know, I'm not going to do the other 27 beforehand because I forgot to film it, didn't want to. Some of the fashion of that. We just want to talk to anyone who's interested or learning about Nissan 300ZXs, specifically the convertibles from 93 to 96, which were the OEM ones actually made by Nissan, not the ones pre-93, which were done by coach builders out in California, which are all bespoke. They're very cool. They're just different. They're not the factory OEM ones. As you can see behind me, I've already got a car very well torn apart. I've learned quite a bit this last time, in the last couple weeks, tearing it apart and learning what's going on with it. As you can see, it's in pretty well torn apart, at least the front quarter anyway. I'm going to take you guys on a little bit of a trip here, take a look at it. If you guys have any questions or comments, just ask me. I'm still learning a little bit. I know some stuff. I own 2 of these vehicles. I actually bought this as a parts car, specifically for the motor actually, and not all the other stuff, which I am actually going to keep. So here, let's take you on a look here, show you guys what this stuff looks like. Just bear with me here. First time new camera type of setup. As you can see on the ground here, I have already got the trunk lid. It's for the top. This is actually the trunk where it's at. Let's see if I can move this around a little bit here. Let's flip this around. I don't think I can do that. Car behind me is actually my one I actually drive. So let's go back over here. This guy, let's rotate here. Hang on a second, guys. I'm gonna put you on pause. Alright guys, here is my 300ZX convertible parts car, which is never going to be back on the road, just so everyone understands. It cannot get licensed. It is what it is. I've already taken off the calipers, which someone had changed. It's unusual. They were the aluminum ones, which shouldn't have been on the 93. They were slightly different. As you can see, this car also was, as you can see from that motor, which is not a normal VG, through DE, because that wouldn't have been. This is actually a twin turbo unit, which is why I bought the car. So I wanted the twin turbo motor, which I'm going to go through. Now this car is, as you can tell, I've already got the fenders off. I already pulled the motor out, pretty much removed everything. I'm trying to get the wiring loom. As you can see, it goes through the car on the round. The interior is pretty much already left alone at this point of where it's at. But I thought I'd show you guys what the back end looks stripped a little bit. Interior is going to be coming out in here the next week or so. I just have got to get some storage, get stuff cleaned up here in the garage. As you can see on the back side, grab a light, help you guys out. Sorry, this is all going to be done in one take because I really don't want to do this again. So, but here we go. This is what the trunk side of where the top would be. This car did not come with a top, unfortunately. It was one of the big problems with it. And it didn't have a windshield, which is another big problem. So this car has to sit in my garage, which does not make life happy, where I can't just sit it outside for a while until I get to it. But, as you can see here, for anyone who wants to take any of this stuff apart for the convertibles, there is a panel that sits here. You pull it up. There will be screws here, here, let me see, here and here, on either side. You're able to pull that panel on up for them easy enough. But then there's also panels here that slide out. This one pulls right up. That one over there slides out. That gets you access to all this other stuff in here. So if you want to get in, you can fold the flap up, which would be right here. Behind here, there's a mechanism that helps support the lid that goes over this. In each one of these, there's spots. There's a rubber, or I should say plastic, you can pull off. Those aren't too bad. Those are easy enough to get out. The big trick is, and you don't realize it until you have to, is it's either this hole or this hole. I think it's this hole. Sorry, I'm going to put my hand in here. This hole here, the wiring for the top goes through into the trunk and connects to this guy. That controls the mechanisms for when you release it, which will be, bear with me again here, guys. Let's see if I can get this shown to you. There are switches right here that obviously there's no power, but this opens the top and this releases the back side. That opens this up so you can take it. That's all controlled by that wiring loom that comes up through. Now there are other components in here, as such as this is releases that were happened to let that pop open. This is actually part of the mechanical top. As you can see, these here are actually vent holes that come through the carpet and everything else. The trunk has been pretty well stripped. I am going to probably sell that, most likely. There's one component that is glued that someone messed up with, and it was this top piece here. The guy messed with it, previous owners. Don't know exactly what happened, but that's what happened with it. So, and here's the interior, nothing fancy. I've already taken out the rubber seals because I was able to save all of them, which is this guy, and this guy, and this guy. They're great. I'm going to hang on to them because, well, you never know when you need them. See, in fact, right here's my parts. This one's going to be electrical, this is going to be that. I'm not sure, turbo piping, and all the stuff there. Here's like the slide mechanisms, which I was able to pull off on the other side. It helps guide it through there for the top. As you can see, that comes through this port here, and this is the control. I guess I'm going to let you guys ask me some questions. Like I said, this is going to be my very first post on a channel, so I don't expect a lot of views, but you know what? Anyone who's in a Nissan 300ZX can ask me questions. The next video I'll probably make, and this is just for me, my knowledge, and for anyone else, because my wife didn't like when I bought the car, how to operate the top. Which is this car, which is my other car. This is one I initially first bought, and no one tells you how to operate the top because it's a mechanical top. No videos really showed it to you. I had to watch a lot of videos just trying to figure out what order of operation need to be done here. As you can see, this isn't perfect either. Very common problem. Rubber seals break here. In fact, this brace that's inside this tends to break all the time on the welds. Super common problem, and it's pretty much unobtainium to get that. Let's see if I can get a better shot without light here. So that's that. Like I said, this car over here is my parts car that I'm taking everything off. As you can see, I've got the trunk cover, front bumpers up there, gonna put the other fender over there. I'm probably gonna steal the doors just to hang on to them because good metal is good metal, and I got this car extraordinarily cheap. So things will be for sale. Dash I am keeping. I'm actually going to put that because it's in better shape than what's in my car. Steering wheel I'm going to get rid of because I don't need it. I really don't need a 93 airbag in my car. Seats will be gone away because I don't need them. I love the looks of them. They feel great. I just don't need them in my car. My other car, now maybe I'll do a video on it. Go over everything that I've done to it so far in that fashion. I've taken the sway bar at the front, calipers. Those are going to go for sale for somebody. Rear sway bars coming off this morning. Probably take the calipers there to be done with it. And then hopefully steal the back tail lights and rear bumper just to hang on to. Once again, same color as the car I got, so I might as well steal the stuff. Anything I can get my hands a hold of. So, let's see if I can flip this around again and we can talk here a second. Share the skin. So if there's any questions you want to ask me, that's great. See if I can answer them. I'm not going to say I'm a perfect genius on these things. I am not. Just like anything else, I'm learning as you go. Like I said, I've owned these cars for about 5 years now. I've had them for quite a while. The one I actually drive, I had it for about a year before I could get it back on the road. But that's, like I said, that's a whole other story for a different time. This story is actually about my parts car. And like I said earlier, and maybe I didn't recap in the beginning, this car will never be on the road. I cannot get it titled. I cannot get it licensed. It's going to be scrapped. It's the reason I bought it. It's the reason why I was able to buy it cheap. It's got a bad title that I can't force. So it is done for. So in the comments, don't even ask. It's done. I might sell a rolling chassis to somebody if they want to cut metal out of it. But that's the only thing. It's not going to get anywhere else beyond this. And I'm stealing a lot of stuff off this. That being said, there were a lot of issues with this car. The guy who owned it previously, or two previous owners, I'm not sure, they they did a TT swap on it, which is great. The convertibles never came with factory with a twin turbo option. So they're very good. They're a lot of horsepower. The NA ones, they're actually rather fun. Automatics, I mean, they're enjoyable. I prefer the manuals. This car was an automatic, which I actually pulled out and sold to another guy within state here who needed a TT automatic transmission. The other thing that's going on is, it was amazingly the guy did it, which I applaud them for doing. They changed the whole rear subframe from the NA to the TT, which you would do if you wanted the TT rear end. Problem gets to be is all the TTs had high cast, either or super high cast. This had high cast in it, not super high cast. They didn't put the lockout kit in, so the rear end would give you that on the rear tires, that what 2-degree change to help you do high speed maneuvering, but they didn't do that, so the tires would do independently. It would wreck tires. It would. I don't understand why they didn't do that. I mean, you put the effort in, put the lockout kit in if you're going to do it. I mean, it gives you great highway gears because the factory NAs are like 410s, 411s. These are 369s for rear end gears. I mean, it was great with a turbo for everything else. The other things they did, which was just terrible, and I've got written them that gone to the scrapyard, was the exhaust. Was terrible on that as well. They literally ran that as 2 separate 3-cylinders off each bank with no crossover pipe. And they didn't even use the factory hangers. They did this weird hodgepodge. It wasn't stainless, which fair enough, doesn't need to be high end. But still, they didn't put no crossover pipe, so you got no resonation going across. And then they tack welded the bottom of the car the hangers instead of using the factory ones, which were there. And there were plenty to use. They could have used any type of any option. They could have bought it from somebody else. Now they did have a decent set of downpipes, which are on the turbo motor. They also had a decent set of test pipes, so they were good. It was just from the test pipes back, so the cat back portion was just terrible on it. The other thing I've noticed when I had pulled the, let's see if we can get that in the frame here, is the TT motor that's there. Oh, hang on. Let's see if I can move you down a second. Let's try this. Not gonna work either. Like I said, I'm not great, guys. Bear with me. The TT motor that is there, anyone who knows these, you have to have a knock sensor. Knock sensor on the VG30DE and VG30DE TT is buried in the valley between the heads. It is hard to access. You really need to access from backside with the EGR removed, which that motor has EGR removed, which is surprising. They didn't do a lot of the elites, but they did do that. They did that. Problem gets to be is the knock sensor is melted and not plugged in. If the car doesn't see the knock sensor, if there's no bypass chip in, which there wasn't, the motor will go to safe mode, which means it's sort of like a limp mode. You won't build boost, won't do anything. So the motor would have ran like garbage. It was terrible. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. What else did they do? Let's see. The interior's on. This car was also in a accident. The front end got damaged. It's hard to see. Maybe if I can take you guys over here with me on a little trip. You can see the green paint. Let's try this. Green paint, wave, ripples. This corner got crunched. And when I had the car, when I first bought it, it definitely, something was wrong. You could see it wasn't fitting. Gaps were off by 1/4 inch. I mean, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch. Things just didn't fit properly. So that corner got hit at some point. Also, when I was running, I got tons of overspray. They repainted the car on the front end because of the damage. Tons of overspray, radiator, water bottle, windshield washer bottle, all of it oversprayed. Tons of issues there. So it was awesome when I got into it. Because I thought about trying to save this and really trying to force the title, because I know enough people that I might be able to do it. But the more I dug into it, the more I saw the damage, the more I saw the rust on the bottom side, the more I saw the shoddy work. It was obviously just going to be a parts car for me. Which is fine. Like I said, the convertibles are harder to come by. They're getting more expensive. Even the NA automatics are coming up in price. That's been in the last 5 years, which is great. It's nice to see them all finally get the due diligence that people want them. I know people want them to keep them low because it's easy access for entry, because these things can be somewhat of a money pit, just like any car. The VG30, you need to do timing belts on them. You need to do your maintenance. You got to be on top of stuff. Any of the deletes you can do help out. If you're in a state that doesn't do emissions, trying to help out, free up some of the stuff that's out of the way. to get stuff. Yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know what else to say other than that, guys. If you have any questions, like I said, hit me up in the comments. Ask me how things work, how it looks. I can show them to you before I get rid of this thing. I am going to be videotaping me tearing apart the interior because I don't know really how to do that on these. I've read the manuals. I've looked at some videos. They all are great for the slick tops. They are great for the, well, I shouldn't say slick tops. The 2+2s and 2+0s, how to tear the interior panels off. No one has really done it for a convertible, and that's kind of the reason I'm doing it. I know how to get the generic stuff off. Like, I'm pretty sure I can get the dash out, get steering column, or not steering column, but the steering wheel, all that front dash. It's sort of behind there I can't get, because there's stuff behind I tried removing, and it didn't want to release. So there's some mechanism I haven't found, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. Yeah. So by the way, my name is Z James. Just so I introduce everyone, I know it's not at the end of the video, great. But like I said, I'm doing this for informational purposes for anybody who wants to know about 300ZXs, Z32 convertibles, OEM factories from 93 to 96. Yeah, so like I said, hit me up in the comments, guys. I would say like and subscribe, but I really don't think this is going to be a big channel. Not to jinx anything, but I'm not trying to be a channel. I'm just trying to be informative to people on this platform and what it is. And I'd like to shout out to anyone who's recording any of their stuff in the shop to help other people in the future. Like stuff I've worked on for the motors and stuff here, I wouldn't have learned without the forums, without the Facebook trade groups, and without the videos the guys are already currently making to do stuff. So I appreciate everyone who's making content in that fashion and making that knowledge out there for people to work on it. Because to be honest with you, 15 years ago, I probably wouldn't have bought a car like this to work on because the communities weren't there. Now, twinturbo.net was still going. That being said, it's just the videos and everything else is going on. There's more of a community and everything else in that. So that's my video for this time. Like I said, this is part 27, like 120, that you're never going to get the first 26 parts. So goodbye, and I'll see you guys in the comments.